Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Hello farmers and welcome back to Seasons on Fenton Forest by Stevie. Today, hopefully we can all learn about grass and hay. It's all about grass and hay today. So what do you say? Yeah, I'm not going to do that often. Hopefully not, because, yeah, it's annoying. I know. Anyways, here we are in late spring. I fast forward to late spring. I think I got everything I need here to kind of go over what we need to, because, you know, you may think, is this grass and hay? How difficult can this be? In Seasons in 19, it can be rather difficult. Hopefully I know enough to show you what needs to be known. One of the first things you should get though when you play Seasons, let's hop right into it. You want to go to the store, over to implements or tools, go to miscellaneous, all the way down to the end, or maybe at the end. You want to buy the MT9. It's a scanner. It's $5,000, but it's going to be worth it, especially if you're going to do bales or if you want to check round information. So obviously we're over here where there's a grass field. There's grass on the ground. If you look on the bottom right hand corner, it says growth. It says ready for harvest. Is that so? 66% fertilized. Is that so? So you bring up the little scanner just like you would as a chainsaw. It's a hand tool. And you point at the ground. You get a wonderful little beeping sound. And you get this kind of information right here. Well, what's all this information? Well, a couple of them are pretty obvious. I had to look up the information to make sure I knew what I was talking about here. But obviously, this is your location, your elevation. This will be your crop type. This is how, this is your crop growth. 67%, but it did say ready for harvest. Obviously, you can harvest grass at 67%, but as you can see here, you're not at full growth for grass, so you may want to hold off onto it. Wait a minute. Okay, this is your crop moisture. So your crop moisture is at 18%. For grass, this is pretty critical. We'll get to that in a second. This right here, where it looks like a leaf, this is actually your fertilization stage, which I found kind of interesting. And the last one here is the soil moisture. So that will come in handy for other crops as well. So even though we're in the last day of spring, as you can see, I got on 6 days per season. And that's going to come very informative to you later when we do wrap up some grass to make some silage bales. But we'll get to that. But since our grass is not 100% here, I want to fast forward to the first day of summer, and I should assume that this grass will be 100% ready to harvest. The one thing I probably should check, because I didn't, I don't know what today is, but today must be Saturday, because then it's Sunday. Sunday looks good for cutting some grass. I'm not going to cut all this grass. I want to leave some grass for when it rains, because yeah, well, we'll see in just a minute, but I'm hoping this video isn't too long, but I think it might be long because, I mean, it's just grass and hay, right? But believe me, with Seasons 19, there is a lot to go over with grass and hay, so I'll see you on the first day of summer, and we'll maybe mow just a little bit of grass and go over what we need to do. Well, now we are in the second day of summer. The grass wasn't 100% on the first day because obviously it just takes an extra day into a season. But if we take our scanner, 100% growth and crop moisture 14%. For grass, 20% is going to make you tip one way or another. And the reason for that is there is wet grass and there's semi-wet grass. So when you cut grass, you're going to get either semi-wet grass or wet grass. Wet grass means that the crop has more than 20% moisture in it. Semi-wet grass means it's less than 20%. Well, what does that mean? Well, since today it's below 20%, I do not need to tend the grass in order for the grass to turn into hay. But it's not going to turn into hay right away either. So let's just go ahead and we'll unfold our big M here. And we're going to go ahead and cut some grass. Like Like I said, not too much. I got the speed at ×1 because, well, I don't want no rain to come along as we're doing this. There is no rain in the forecast, but you never know. So let's turn this on. Also with the scanning tool, sometimes you can scan the ground and it'll beep, 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 and then nothing comes up. It's a failed reading, so just go to a different spot and try it again. And finally it will read. But as you can see, as I'm cutting the grass, you may be looking at the ground behind the big M and saying, that looks like hay. And you'd be correct, it does look like hay. That's not hay. That is the texture of semi-wet grass. So it may look like hay, but it is not. Alright, so we'll actually we'll move him out of the way. We'll lift that up. Bring him over here. Now the thing that kind of gets me is I don't think you can use a scanning tool. But if you look at it, if you're used to textures in FS19, you look at that color and like, hey, that looks like hay. I don't think I can scan. Yeah, see, it just says grass. Yeah, so, okay, let's go down. I may have to, nope, not, that's the wrong tractor. And for some reason, there's straw in this baler. It's fine though, we should have more than enough. This holds 4,000 liters, not a modded baler, so it should be fine. You should spit this straw bale out. That is down. We'll turn that on. So I'm going to bale this right up right away. I wonder if it'll change it from straw to whatever it is. Alright, so you can see in the bottom right hand corner, it says we are baling grass. I'll just do one more bale. We'll ignore the straw bale, but it's kind of good that we have a straw bale because we can use our meter on that. Okay, that's good enough for there. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And we'll unload those. So even though, like I said, that texture looks like it's hay, it is not. So if we get our scanning tool out, I said scanning tool. Straw bale, 4,000 liters. Thank you very much. Now see, now they look like grass bales again. You can scan the grass bale, and it says grass, 4,000 liters. Now, as these bales sit out here in the sun, these grass bales slowly but surely will disintegrate and get smaller and smaller. So what we need to do is, since this is the texture of semi-wet grass, you don't have to ted it for it to turn to hay. You just have to advance time or wait. And the time scale when it turns to hay all depends on this right here. So the wind speed today is right around 7.2 meters per second. So it's kind of breezy. Drying potential, we got a plus. So it should dry kind of quickly. So if we just stand back, and let's see, I'll put the time on 120. Now it could take, I don't know, 4 hours for it to switch over. But I'll sit right here, and maybe I'll speed up the video a little bit here to when it turns into quote-unquote hay. But if we watch the texture of the grass, semi-wet grass, excuse me, we'll see the difference. And it may look like straw. Alright, so now it's 12:15. So that was about, what, 5.5 hours? Now, if you look at this down here, you may say, geez, that kind of looks like straw. And it kind of does. But in real life, this is what dry grass does look like. Yeah, so this is the grass that we baled up earlier. Now, since 5.5 hours has passed, I'll also show you this. I told you grass bales will slowly decay while they sit out anywhere. You can now see this grass bale is not 4,000 liters anymore. It's now 3,972 liters. I don't think the straw bale should be fine. 4,000 liters. I'm glad I'm actually glad I have a straw bale. Because I don't have no crops to harvest to make a straw bale, but straw bales will be fine out in elements until it rains. So if you leave a bale out in the rain, it should slowly decay. But that's not what we're here for right now. We can hopefully get some rain later on, which I'm sure we will. So let's go ahead and turn on our baler. Let's go ahead and pop some hay bales on out. Right now it says grass. That's because that was my first bale. I had some grass still in there. So now you can see now in the bottom right hand corner it says hay. So I might as well go ahead and finish off this whole row. I didn't quite get enough, but that's fine. That is fine. So we'll go ahead and spit. I gotta turn the baler off first. Alright, so we'll spit those out. Turn that off. Somebody come over here with our tool. It kind of looks like a straw bale in a way, but it says hay 4,000 liters. And obviously a new grass bale, we just made it, so it should say 4,000 liters. Time has not passed for it to decay at all. Now, hay and straw bales, lift anything mod, thank you very much. Hay and straw bales, you can leave outside, and as long as it doesn't rain, they should be fine. If it rains, they will start to decay like the grass bales do. So there's our bales right there. Now if you look at the difference, it's a slight difference, but you can see it. Straw is a little bit darker than the hay bale. And the grass bale, yeah, you should be able to tell that. So the other thing I should also mention is that on seasons, you cannot sell any loose, well, let me take that back. You can sell loose grass, hay, and straw, but you get nothing for it. So if you go into the market over here, well, it says at the BGA I can. I'm not sure about the BGA. I'll have to check on that. But loose grass, hay, and straw, you should get nothing for it. You can sell bales, hay bales and straw bales for money, but grass, no matter what you do with the grass, you should get nothing for it. And if I go into the help menu, where is it? Just to say right here, see grass bale, where does it say? Swath the pile, such as straw and hay must be baled before it can be sold. Loose straw and hay cannot be sold. Only given away for free. Grass, baled, or loose cannot be sold either. Well, technically you can sell it, but you're not going to get a cash for it. So a baler is something you're going to need in seasons for many reasons. Also, grass bales, when winter comes, even if you have them stored, does it say within like a day or 2 days, the grass will just disintegrate. So if you have any grass bales going into winter, you might want to wrap them up and turn them into silage. Speaking of silage, let's go ahead down here, and I think I need to grab this guy right here. And we're going to grab a couple of our grass bales. And we are going to make silage bales. Kind of. I should be able to pick this grass one up here. Here we go. And while my modded wrapper wraps up in a blink of an eye here, let me move this one over here. And now we'll go ahead and, can I get in here please? Thank you. Wrap this one up as well. Obviously, that's what you want to do to make a silage bale. Now, your silage bales, they don't turn instantly into silage like you do on the base game. So as we all know, there are 4 seasons. Yeah, let's go back to first grade. Spring, summer, autumn, and fall. Now, depending on how many days you're running your seasons, is how many days it will take from grass to go to silage. So if you're playing on for each season, I think I should make this simpler. For each season, you got like an early summer, like you can see we're in, and you got a midsummer, and you got a late summer. So there's 3 stages to a season. Depending how long your stage is per each season is how long a bale is going to take. So since I'm playing on, is it 6 days? Am I playing on 6 days? No, that's the wrong button. I already forgot. Is it 6 or 9? I'm playing on 6. So each segment of my season is 2 days. So it's going to take 2 days for my bales to go from grass to silage. And if you scan it, it'll tell you. So this grass bale, obviously we lost some grass because it sat there. It is 0.05% fermented 48 hours ago, which is 2 days. So if you're playing 9 days per season, this would say 72 hours ago because it would take 3 days. If you're playing 24-day seasons, it's going to take 8 days. Wait, is that right? 8 days? Is that right? That's wrong. Right? Wrong? Correct? Yes. But it's going to take 1 segment of a season. So the longer your seasons are, the longer it's going to take for bales to ferment. So just keep that in mind. So we'll let those ferment. We're going to let, the hay bale and straw bale. I want to leave out here. We are going to skip a day. But also in the meantime, before we skip a day, I want to mow another swath of grass, and I just want to leave it here. So let's get to, actually before I skip a day, yeah, let's mow the grass here, and I can explain what else can happen. So as we know right now, our crop moisture is below 20%. So when I cut this, it is quote-unquote semi-wet grass. In 6 hours, if it doesn't rain, well, then it'll turn to hay. But if I leave the hay out here in the field and it rains, it will go back to semi-wet grass. If it's semi-wet grass and it rains, the semi-wet grass will convert over to wet grass. And when it's wet grass, the only way to get it back to semi-wet grass is you have to ted it. So, first things first is I want to cut this semi-wet grass. We're going to leave it here for a day. So I'll see you in the 3rd day of summer, which for me should be midsummer. Is anyone confused yet? I told you there's a lot to go over. Well, here we are. We are in midsummer. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. And unfortunately, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's when the rain hit. So right now, you can kind of see, I do believe that this is hay. It hasn't been raining long enough. But I wanted to bring it back to let you see that it did turn to hay. So now I'm curious to see when will it turn back to semi-wet grass. I cannot see much, but I think I'll have to test everything else out when it is bright enough out. But yeah, so if you come over this hay bale, I don't think it's been raining long enough. It just really started raining just very shortly. I was at 120 scale and I heard some noise. Yep, so that's fine so far. And our straw bale is fine. Our silage bale should be good to go. I still got like 24, it says, 34 hours. I look quickly. I said, never mind. I can't read numbers. I'll bring it back when it's daylight, but we'll see if this hay turns back to semi-wet grass. At least that's what I've been told. But finally I got some rain to find out. The rain has just stopped. And there you go. Just as I said that, the rain has just stopped. Our hay, as you can see, has turned back to semi-wet grass. So, yeah, you got to be careful with the rain and all. Now, it just stopped raining. I don't know if I have to wait long. I know if this was like a cereal crop or any other crop, I would have to wait before I harvested it. The crop moisture, I mean, not the crop moisture. Yeah, the crop moisture is at 38%. I do want to cut this. Hopefully, because now it should be the grass color that we're always used to. If it lets me cut it. I don't know. It might say that the crop is too wet. No, I'm going to be able to cut it. Alright, so there is the normal color that you would see when you cut grass. So as you saw before, when the crop moisture for the grass was below 20%, we got semi-wet grass, which is that grass color over there. If the grass is over 20%, you get this color here, just as it rains again. So what it might happen, I didn't realize I can cut grass in the rain. Okay. But what's going to happen to that semi-wet grass over there, when it gets done raining again, that grass over there may turn into wet grass completely. So we have our regular wet grass now, and our hay, which turned to semi-wet grass. And now that it's raining again, there's a good chance that the semi-wet grass may turn completely to wet grass. I'll see you when it stops raining at some point. You wanted rain, you got rain, and now you're complaining about rain. I know. Well, it's nearly midnight, and it's still raining. But I brought you back because I want to see if we can actually see it happen. But at midnight, your grass, if you left it outside, should decompose at midnight. Also, because I was curious, I brought my loading wagon over. I took some wet grass and brought it to the BGA and gave some grass to the BGA. So also at midnight, we'll see if you can actually sell grass, loose grass that is at least, when it hits midnight. So I got the tractor with the lights on so I can see both piles. Kind of down, kind of low. And see if you can see a difference when midnight hits. Now, technically they're both grass, so I don't know if both piles we're going to see them both go down or not. As we wait for it. Now, see, right there, I don't know if that's a glitch or not, but we sold loose grass, wet grass, at the BGA and got money for it. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But I did not see the grass piles, like, get smaller. I didn't see these swaths get smaller, but it should have decomposed a little bit at midnight. So we still got our bales over here. Let's see, because we left the straw bale and hay bale out in the rain. What's going on with these? Nothing yet. So, I mean, the hay and straw bales are supposed to be more durable weather-wise. Grass bale. Oh, I got another grass bale way up there, and there's nothing up there for me to teleport to. I'll run up there. What is this? So you can see this grass bale that we did yesterday is already down to 3,312 liters. And it hasn't even been a full day yet. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to stop raining here in a while, but I think I'll just bring it back when it's bright out. Well, at least when the sun's up. Looks like it's going to be cloudy. Well, here we are at 5 o'clock in the morning, and yes, 5 o'clock in the morning in seasons in midsummer, the sun will be rising. In winter, the sun may not rise until like 8 o'clock in the morning. So was it like 6:30 in the base game where it starts to get more bright out, and then 7:30 at night when it gets dark. But as we can see here, this is our original quote-unquote wet grass. And you remember the hay that we had? It's not even semi-wet grass. It is now completely wet grass. So that has happened to us. Yeah, so don't leave your hay out in the rain. It will turn over. We'll come back over here and just check on our straw bale. Still at 4,000. Yeah, so once you made the bales, they're pretty durable being in the rain, looks like. We went through two pretty good rainstorms there yesterday. And we still got 8 hours to go, and our grass bale is, we're not losing grass because it's wrapped, it's fermenting, but it's almost fermented. I want to wait until it's a little more daylight out, and then we're going to have to get our tedder out, because wet grass will not turn to semi-wet grass unless you ted it. So, yeah, I want to wait until it's a little bit more brighter out. But while we're kind of waiting, where's our forecast? Today, pretty good wind speeds, and drying potential is pretty good. Especially at 9 o'clock. See the double pluses? And at noon, double pluses. Pretty good drying conditions today. So, yeah, I'll see you a little bit more into the morning, and we'll ted some grass and hopefully turn some wet grass into semi-wet grass. So here we are at 9 o'clock in the morning. And right away, as you can see, our wet grass has turned into, I know it looks like hay, but let's not fall for that. That is semi-wet grass. So you don't have to wait at all from going from wet grass right to semi-wet grass. Kind of interesting. But I kind of like that, so you don't have to, I mean, I was thinking we were going to have to wait another, the other day was like 5 hours. Today it could have been like 3 hours because it's a really good drying day, apparently. So that is what would change the drying time. But now we got our wet grass into semi-wet grass. So now we would just have to wait. Let's see, the other day, like I said, was what, 5 hours? So we're going to go ahead and just ted this. And I really don't have any plans to bale or anything like that. We're just going to see how long it takes today, because today is a good drying day. So when we get down here at the end of the row, we'll speed up some time and see how long it takes today for this wet grass to go, semi-wet grass to go to hay. Well, finally, at 20 past 6 in the evening, it switched over to hay. What's that, like 9 hours? It took 9 hours? My guess is, the way it's working, even though when we tedded it, it went from wet grass to semi-wet grass, the moisture still stayed the same that was in the grass. So that's why it took longer for it to switch over to hay. That's the only thing I can think of. But what I wanted to check, because it stopped raining a while ago, well, when I see a while ago, in the morning, yeah, crop moisture is down to 13%. So what I would say is, when it rained, I would try to figure out when to cut the grass, way after it stops raining, and then cut it, and then that's when to do it. So you have to time your grass cutting a little bit more to change over to hay. I think it's not bad cutting it when it's wet grass, but to switch over to hay can take a while. And if it starts raining, as you saw, and it could switch back over to wet grass after semi-wet grass, yeah, so it's going to take some planning to cut your grass. As for Season saying you cannot sell loose grass, hay, or straw, apparently the BGA takes it, but I don't know if that's map oriented. The only thing I can say is go to your price guide, because BGA takes it. For those of you who are already playing Seasons, let me know if you, obviously I own the BGA, so that's why I can sell there. Let me know if you can sell your loose grass, straw, and hay at the BGA. Leave in the comments below so other people can know as well. If we sold it at Animal Supplies or at the Digester and wherever else that we can, it says $0. So if I want to sell them there, I'd have to sell them as bales. But it looks like the BGA will take it as loose as well. That is very interesting. If we come back over to here to our silage bale, our grass bale turning into silage. It is now silage. Can I open these? That used to be a thing. Nope. I might be thinking of a different mod. So how is our hay bale doing, being out in the rain, out in the elements? Still says 4,000 liters. And that says 4,000 liters. I can imagine our grass bale that's up here that we did just over a day ago, but in the rain as well. We left it out in the elements. Yeah, it's down to half of what it was the day before. It's only been a day on a 6-day season schedule. So once again, I think you pretty much got everything. But as for the silage bales, it's going to take one segment of a season. So depending on how long your seasons is, will determine how long it takes for a grass bale to go to a silage bale after it's wrapped. So if you're playing a 3-day seasons, it's going to take 1 day. If you're playing a 6-day season, it's going to take 2. 9-day season will take 3. 12-day season will take 4. An 18-day seasons, I think it goes to, will take 6. And a 24-day seasons will take 8 days for a grass bale to go to silage. I did that quick in my head, so hopefully that's right. So I think I pretty much covered grass/hay bales today. If I missed something, leave a comment below. I know I'm trying to keep this video short. I'm trying to keep it kind of precise and clean so it's easy to understand. Hopefully by showing you that when it rains, how it goes from it can go from hay to semi-wet grass all the way back to full wet grass, when to mow it. But definitely get your meter tool out, because you can come over to the field and it does not tell you how wet your crop is at all. And there's nothing on the PDA that's going to tell you how wet your crop is, as weeds are slowly infesting some fields. That is normal in seasons, in case you didn't know. Weeds will not pop up an entire field. They'll pop up in sections. We will get to that at another episode another time. But I definitely want to get to the grass episode, because probably at this point, some of you, as you're seeing this, are probably at that grass stage already and maybe learning. And if you haven't got that far, hopefully this video will help you out. But like I said, if you have any more questions about this, if I can't answer it, hopefully someone else can for you. But I think I went over everything I could, like I said. Yeah. So I think that's going to cover it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching as always. And I'll catch you next time in Seasons on Fenton Forest by Stevie. But until then, have a good one.